So here we are again. So welcome everybody. This is Kiara, June 6th, 2020. So, alright, so this whole series that we've been doing 3 times a week has been about expanding beyond the personal self and learning how to connect and stay connected with that aspect of ourself that we call the universal self, or simply the self, because that's who we are, the totality of who we are. And as part of that totality, we experience ourselves as a personal self with our human experiences and thoughts and feelings and memories and emotions and ups and downs and things we do and people we meet and places we go. So that human self has a particular reality within the totality. But the fullness of who we are is much greater than that. So there's 2 very, very different experiences of the self that we can have. In our ordinary daily life is one, and then in this other reality which we could call the dream world. So dreams are actually the metaphor for what it means to go outside of this linear form of reality. So you may notice that when you're dreaming, you're no longer bound by time in the same way. Things happen simultaneously. They can be going on forever, seemingly, and then you wake up and it's only an instant that has gone by. You find that you're capable of doing things within your dreams that you're not capable of or in your waking life. You may find that you're encountering various people in dream time, and then you encounter them in waking time. Somehow they're related, but we don't know exactly how. So it's the same way with being in this multidimensional reality. Here we are in this linear form of reality. Things are very fixed, things are very dependable, and there's certain laws and rules that we follow. In third-dimensional reality, the laws of physics, the so-called laws of nature, the laws of time and space. But then once we slip outside of that, those laws change, those rules change, and we realize that who we are is very different. And if we can learn to keep one foot in both worlds, we can be co-creators in a different way. So we can actually experience ourselves as that limitless creator consciousness while also being within creation, subject to the laws of creation. So what's the difference between these 2 worlds? How do we navigate? So for the Incas and for many indigenous traditions, when they talk about the 3 worlds, it's journeys from one reality into another. And so the Quero Incas, when they talk about opening the doorway to the upper world and simultaneously also into the lower world, what that's doing is it's stretching our boundaries, stretching our sense of who we are from the personal self, not to exclude that, but to embrace a much bigger aspect of us. So that's the journey that we're on our entire life. And most times we don't quite remember that this is our journey. We tend to forget, we tend to limit ourselves, we tend to forget the fullness of who we are, and then we buy into the conditioning. I'm not good enough, I'm not secure enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not capable enough, I'm not happy enough or rich enough or beautiful enough, whatever the story may be, to fulfill what I'm here to do. Or I'm not spiritual enough, I don't have what it takes, or I'm not smart enough, I'm not loving enough. All these stories that we create based on what we've been told about ourselves. And then what ends up happening is we believe it, and then we limit our ability to make a difference in the world and make a difference in our own experience of the world. So we can learn to keep those doorways open at all times. So many of you have been doing these practices. It's a very simple practice. You simply open the window, allow the cosmic light to come through. There's a response from the earth. Cosmic light comes up from the earth. So you have these two forces, the electrical and the magnetic, interacting to open your sense of perception from the finite, limited self to the infinite, divine self. And so this can become a daily experience. It can become our moment-to-moment experience. So it's not excluding either one, the human or the divine, and it's being able to multitask, to become multidimensional. That can become a very normal experience. It's not like you have to go into an extraordinary state of consciousness to realize who you are. It's about realizing who you are already, and that you were never separate, that you were never split. And it's just that, once we get trapped in the third dimensional world of the middle self, we learn to mistrust ourselves and mistrust the world around us. And so these practices to open the doors, the windows to different realities are simply reminders to how we can keep that perception at all times. So what I'd like to do with us today is something a little bit more participatory. So we are living in this reality that we call the real world. There's a lot of things happening which are quite troublesome in many ways from an external perspective. And what we can do in our participatory co-creation is to simply create a bridge within ourselves so that these two worlds can come together. And then we don't have to do anything. We don't have to ask or plead or pray. It's simply holding that space open so we can become a bridge between these realities, and something changes in the process. So it's not the limited human personal ego that creates the change. Change happens as a consequence of linking up with a multidimensional being. So basically from that state of being, doing is an expression. It's not like I have to do something to get someplace or to change something. It's holding a space of beingness and then allowing whatever needs to happen through that to come forth. It may be an action, it may be a state of relaxation or surrender. It could be coming together and creating a field of consciousness, a morphogenetic field that links the entire planet together, and then just holding a space. So let's do that. We'll just link up, open up the space, connect with Gaia consciousness. And then what I'd like to ask you is to just make your own statements of what you would like to see happening in this world. And that statement then becomes a a gate, an intention through which Spirit does what's needed. So you can just make your statements on the chat screen, and I'll look through this, and then we'll make it a meditation together. All right, so let's start with just connecting with the bubble. So most of you have been doing these practices. If you haven't, if this is new for you, just imagine that there's a bubble of light about 2 meters out in all directions, surrounding the physical body. So this bubble represents the middle world, the world of your personal senses, the personal ego, the rational mind, the matrix. It's our everyday reality. Our thoughts, our feelings, our memories, our sense of self, our history. And now imagine that there's a window directly over the top of this bubble. And you open this as wide as possible. So it's a circular window, like the diaphragm of a camera. And the moment you open this window, immediately you experience this flow of divine light. It's an electrical force that comes in from the upper worlds effortlessly. All you're doing is keeping that window open. It moves down through your body into the earth, down through the entire bubble into the earth. And then there's a response to this. So you have the magnetic flows coming up from the earth, up through your body, up through the bubble, up through the window to the sky. So remember that the magnetic energies flow up by themselves in response to the electrical energies flowing down. You don't need a separate window. So there's no duality as such between the earth and the sky. The same window that opens above creates a response from below. That's the law of Aini, reciprocity. And so as you keep that window open, as you continue to experience this exchange of electrical and magnetic forces moving through your system, you feel yourself expanding out through space, far out beyond the bubble of light that you started with. Feel yourself expanding out further and further across the earth. Across the local landscape. across the country you happen to be in, across continents and oceans, until you experience yourself as the earth, as Gaia. And here we're linking ourselves with the consciousness of all life on this earth. Human life, animals, plants, insects, amphibians, reptiles, mammals in the sea, mammals on the earth. Fish in the oceans, plankton, microscopic life, and even aspects of life that are invisible to human senses. All of this is part of Gaia. And as you embrace Gaia, you become all of that in your experience of yourself. And so now connect with the heart of Gaia. It's like you're feeling yourself embracing the entire planet. Go inwards to the very center of the earth. Imagine this being the heart of Gaia. It's a space where you can access the soul of the earth, and where you can influence the life of the earth. So from this space now, I would like you to just make any intentions, suggestions, prayers, just short statements for peace, for harmony, for beauty, for wholeness, for new creation, just whatever comes to mind. So these intentions then become part of a new creation, and we become co-creators for this new earth. Could be anything, could be something to do with circumstances or situations on the earth. Could be certain groups or species. Could be something to do with climatic conditions. All you're doing is just holding space with these intentions, and then allowing a greater consciousness to work with us and through us. So here we are connecting with Gaia, with the entire web of life, visible and invisible, comprising all three worlds of creation. And they're all here to support and assist this co-creation. All right, so name some of the intentions that are coming across. Candace says that we form groups and tribes that co-create a cooperative, sustainable way of life, in love for all in life. Elizabeth says patience. Francesca, respect for herself, the earth and the sea, all life on earth. Chris, I pray that humanity will regain respect for the earth and that it can rise in its full beauty. The beauty that was always meant to be. Love coming back as the most important for all life, from Ina. Karen says clean water and remembering. Emma, deep understanding and compassion for humanity. Yvette, let us all remember who we really are and see the infinite love in everything that is alive. And for all humans and species on earth to find and behold peace in mind and heart. Laura, awareness of preciousness and beauty of nature. Carl, may there be love for all, no more loneliness. Herminia, a peaceful world for all life, in where we help, love, and respect all there is. Aho. Anne-Marie, I am sorry, forgive us. We love you, and together we restore harmony, all as one. Pia, water for all. Lynette, upliftment for mankind so they can feel the love of consciousness. Etienne, tasting the liberating joy of awakening, bringing back purity and balance. Emma, kindness, joy, dancing, creative vision, choosing love over fear. Anita, love in the heart of all things, all beings. Elena, love, peace, and truth for all. Aldovina, that all the animals can understand what is going on. Yes, they do, far more than we often. So these are like seeds that we're planting into the collective heart of humanity, from where it goes out into the collective heart of Gaia. And as we keep open the doorways between the worlds, these intentions, these prayers, become like the new seeds through which harmony can reign across the world. It's a powerful time. We've chosen to be here during this time, often not even knowing why we've come. And this is why. So we can recognize who we are, what we are, why we are. Barron says, hand in hand, across the whole world, all living beings with love. Laura, all the seeds I embrace and love. Yvette, my inner child dances around these seeds of love. Petra, connectiveness with all living and free souls. Aho. Anne-Marie, may we breathe and beat as one heart. Emma, release of suffering of the wounded mind, addictions, hatred, anger, fear, into love and wholeness. And so we plant these seeds, and we offer these seeds to Gaia. So thank you for participating, for being here on this earth at this time. I also want to remind people that starting in about half an hour, we're doing our monthly webinar. So we'll be going deeper into Inca practices, Ilahinur, Gayanur, and then deeper work on a planetary level, working with some of these mystery traditions. So if you have not done anything with me before, you're welcome to join already starting today. If you have worked with me before and want to skip the introductory weekend and join for the later periods, That's also an option, although you're welcome to participate in all of it. Each time is different, each time is deeper. It's simply about keeping those doors open, allowing that divine light to clear deeper and deeper layers of hucha, whatever holds us back from the full expression of our true self. So if you're interested and haven't signed up, contact Jamie Franken, JAMY FRENCKEN @hotmail.com. And I thank all of you for participating over and over through these weeks. It's one way we can support our evolutionary journey. So I'm just writing Jamie's email in case some of you might want to contact her. So blessings. Just remain in this space as long as you wish. And for those who may be new, we've been doing this tri-weekly series of meditations, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. European time. And just translate that to wherever you are in the world.